Hello, grade 5/6s. For our science today, we are exploring solids. Last week we did liquids. This time we're doing solids. I've got a fairly long activity here for you. Remember that we want you working on this stuff for no more than an hour. So if this takes you a while, you can stop once you've done an hour's worth of work. Okay, let's have a look at the first part of this. I think you should be able to get it done in the time. Now here I've got words related to solids that you need to know and understand. These are words highly likely to show up in a test or a CFAT, so that just make sure you understand what these words mean, because they might be, I'll have a little bit more thought than you think. The first word is strength. This one's fairly easy. Okay, this is a material's ability to resist a force applied to it. Okay, really strong materials are things like steel or concrete. So if we apply force to it, it will still survive. It won't break it. Okay, those are strong materials. Easy enough. But then let's compare that to hardness. Now, often when people say a material is hard, and they say it is strong, they mean the same thing, but they're not. They're two different things. Okay? So when we're talking about hardness, we're talking about how easily a substance is worn away or scratched. Now think about it. Like if you get some like metal, you can scratch metal relatively easily. If you get a bit of sharp or something sharp or like that, you can scratch it. In fact, diamond can be used to cut those sorts of things a lot easier. But diamond is much harder. It is very difficult to scratch diamond. It's harder than steel. Not as strong as steel, but it's harder. Okay, so if something can scratch fairly easily, like wood, it doesn't have as much hardness. Okay, or the other example I've got here is your teeth. Your teeth don't scratch easy. The enamel around your teeth are very hard, and they don't get scratched up just when you bite on a bone or something. Okay, so that's what we mean by hardness, how easy something can be scratched or worn away. Okay, next up we have brittleness. Okay, now brittleness here is talking about something that is hard but breaks easily. Okay, now think of things like I've got glass or ceramic here. This has probably happened at your house or something at some point. You've got like your plates. They're very hard. You eat your food on them, they clang around, they're very hard, but as soon as you drop a plate, it smashes. Okay? Brittle means hard, but breaks easy. Okay? All right, so that's fairly straightforward. If glass is brittle, it's very hard, but you throw a rock at it and it breaks. All right? Okay, then we have elasticity or elastic. Now, this is something that changes shape when force is applied to it. So it changes shape when you apply force. You can stretch it, you can bend it, you can push it. Okay, this is elasticity, just like a piece of a rubber band. And after you do so, it recovers to its original shape afterwards. So when you apply force, it changes, and then when you let go, it goes back to the way it was. That's something that's elastic. Okay, elasticity. Okay, next up, another one, malleability or malleable. When we talk about something being malleable, it means it's a solid that can change shape or be bent easily or more easily. Okay, now a good example of this is Play-Doh. Play-Doh is very malleable. You can just push it and it just changes shape. Okay, changes shape easily with your hand. Another example, which I mentioned before, gold. Gold is actually quite a malleable metal. It's pretty hard, but if you bite it, then you will actually dint it with your teeth, because your teeth will bend it, like make a dint quite easily, because it is a softer solid. It is more malleable. Okay, that's how they used to be able to tell if a gold coin was real. They could bite it and see if it leaves a dint. Okay. Then we have flexibility. Okay, if something is flexible, it can bend and recover its shape without snapping. Okay, so think of like I've got there a fiberglass or an eraser. Like if you get an eraser, you can bend it a bit and you let go and it'll flick back. It's almost like a little bit elastic, but not elastic. You can't stretch it like that. It just can bend and go back to the shape it was. Okay, fiberglass is an example of that. Fiberglass can bend quite easily if you think of different materials. I don't know if you've seen your parents do any building or construction and have fiberglass around. It can be fairly flexible without snapping. Okay, steel is also that's actually one of the reasons steel is harder too is stronger too is because it's got a bit of flexibility. Instead of just snapping, it will bend a little bit and then go back to the way it was a bit, as long as it doesn't go too far. It's got a bit of flexibility. Okay. So these words here are all important words you need to know. This is the bulk of your work today here. All of these answers here, I am going to delete them. Okay, so you will need to rewind back and copy those into yours. I want you to put them in there, and typing them yourselves will help you remember them. Okay, you need to know what all 6 of those words mean. Okay, all right. Now, next up, part 2, we have a little activity here. This is a very easy activity, requires you to do a little bit of experimenting. Now, I've got some instructions here. It says choose items from around your house or at school that you can examine to answer the following questions. Okay, you need to choose different solids. Okay, and I've got some examples of solids here that you can find. Let's have a look at this. Okay, what we've got here is I've got this grid already made up for you, and I've already got 2 written in for you. Water, which is a liquid, okay? And then I've put in stone. That's our first solid. We're going to fill all of these with solids. You get to choose which solids you put here, depending on what you have at your house. Okay, now let me give you an example of how this works. All you do is go down and just say yes or no. You can just put Y or N for these. Keep it very simple. Okay, first of all, we could say water. Is it hard? Can it be scratched? No, you can't really scratch water, so I'm going to say put an N there. Okay, is it runny? Yes. Okay, does it change its shape easily? Yes, water does change its shape easily. Okay, you just go down and put Y or N for all of these. Okay, then you go down and do it for stone. I've picked stone because everyone should be able to find a stone somewhere. First of all, is a stone hard? Yes, it is. Is a stone runny? No. No, a stone isn't runny. Does a stone change its shape easily? No, it doesn't change its shape easily. Now you've got to go down this list. There's some other questions here. Okay, does its shape depend on the container it's in? If I put a stone in a cup, does it change shape? Or if I put a stone in some Tupperware, does it change shape? Okay, obviously it's not going to. No. Can it be stirred? Can you get a stone and can you stir it? Not really. No. Is it easy to squash? Can it be stretched? And you can also think of some of your own questions if you want to. Okay. Now, this is pretty easy. You just go put Y or N for these, yes or no. But then you have to think of some of your own things. Now, you have to go around your house and get them, and you can actually check on it. Okay. Now, first of all, like this one, can it be scratched? Is it hard? Okay. Now you got to use a bit of your common sense here. Like a stone is hard, but it can also be scratched. Obviously, the harder it is to scratch. So yes, you can scratch a stone, but not easily. Okay, it is definitely hard. All right. If it scratches really easily, like a sponge, then it's not really considered hard. Okay, so just something for you to think about. But anyways, find a few things around at home. You could find a bar of soap. You could find some chalk. You could find some Play-Doh. You could find a block of wood. You got a sponge there. You can get a jelly lolly. You can find an elastic band. You can find marbles. You could find flour, laundry powder, cloth, anything you can think of. Write them down here. Let's say you decide to do some wood. Put wood there and then answer the questions. Is wood hard? Well, wood is pretty hard, but it's not as hard as a stone. So you can say, yes, it's pretty hard. But if you want to put in there, some extra information, you can if you want. Is wood runny? No, it's not runny. Whatever. Okay? You fill out that information the best way you can. Now, once you've done, you should have yes and no's for all of these things. Okay? And they're going to tell you, give you the information you need for this next part. This is a very short part. Based on your experiments, write a definition of what is a solid. They've got to come up, what actually is a solid? If someone, a little preppy comes up to you and says, what is a solid? What would you say? Okay, write it here, and you can use this experiment to help you. For example, if every single solid you pick is stretchy, then say solids are stretchy. Not all solids are stretchy, so don't say that. But you know what I mean. If every single solid can be stirred, then you know solids can be stirred, maybe. No, that's not easy. I'm not telling you the answer, but you can use your experiments to help you get the right answer. What can all solids do? If all solids have it, then you can put that in your definition. Are all solids hard? If so, write it there. I don't know. I don't think all solids are hard. You try it out. Okay, once you have written it there, I have the answer already written for you in this part here. Now, you can't see it. It's an invisible answer. I'm not going to show it to you now. Please don't check this answer until you have written your own. Once you are ready, you can highlight it and it will tell you the answer. I've just written it in white, so you can't see it unless you highlight it. So check your answer after you have written your own. Okay? What is a solid? What do you think it is? Doesn't matter if you're not really sure. It's just an experiment, something for you to put your own thought into. Okay, last of all, a little bit of fun at the end. I have included some videos of some interesting solids. If you'd like to learn more, I said check out 2 of these interesting... Oh, liquid's still there. I'll get that changed to solids. Okay, check out 2 or more of these interesting solids. I've got... some of them are fairly long, like I think I've got this one here, this silica aerogel. I think that goes for like 10 minutes. You can watch it all if you want to, but you can just watch a minute or 2. You'll get the idea. It's up to you. Check these out. They're pretty interesting just for some extra fun at the end. So by the end of this, you should have a good idea of what is a solid. You should have experimented on some different solids, and you should have learned these new words that you need to understand. Okay, boys and girls, that should keep you busy. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all soon, and I hope you have a good day and a great week. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.